Hello.
Hello, we have a contractor, general contractor Steve,
Yes.
Mr. Kott,
Yes.
Kott, and he is here to inspect this patio cover, deck, balcony area.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and then we have a Hui, co-listing agent for this property. Okay, so Steve, can you kind of explain to us the situation here?
There's a lot of repair on this one. Like here, this is the main support that's right here. But you can see this is all rotten, this top. You can see the cracking of the wood, the bubbling. So this is probably water damage. So it's a good choice that a good part of that, or this has to be replaced. And then here underneath, you see the water, the wood rot underneath. You see where these have just been patched and trying to cover up. They're trying to cover up stuff like this.
They treat it and then try to patch. Is that right?
Yeah, they tried patching it, and then you see where the it's just rotten, and you got them. The deck is no good. It's very scary to walk up there, but you can see that's just rotted wood. This is rotted wood here.
Yes.
A lot of these joists running across look pretty decent. There's a couple up on the edge, like here. You see this edge, the top of this truss is rotted.
Yes.
So it's got to be repaired or replaced. And then down on this side, these posts seem pretty strong. These look in good shape. But it's like the end of the beams, you can see where the holes are. They take screwdrivers, just rotted. This has been bondoed or patched to try and cover up in there. So the top deck has to be replaced. Possibly the two main support beams going across. So you can see the water damage. You see where this is splitting, where this is rotten.
Yes.
So the two main trusses, or these are called load-bearing beams, have to be replaced. The deck has to be replaced. You're taking these down, I mean, and then seeing what is bad on some of these trusses. So it's a complete rebuild. I mean, you could probably sit,
How much is the demolition?
Because you got to tear off the deck, you got to do this here. It's probably about 60 to 70% of this has got to be replaced. I mean, I could save some of the trusses, okay, and then, but like these three posts, I could probably save. That's about all. And then you got your trusses. Now, how many of those are bad or good? I mean, until a lot of it's been patched or bondoed and just covered with paint to hide, we call hide the sins. We'll know more. And then I'm looking on top of the deck, you can see where the wood, it's been patched and repaired, where it's been deck water damage.
Okay.
Is what it is.
So I know you still have to get
the quotes for the
quote.
Yeah, we can do all the lumber and replacing in the demo, but the actual deck coating, I would hire a specialty company who specializes in those deck coatings. Now there is some options. I mean, you could go ahead and say, I don't want a solid deck. I'm going to put planking, or Trex, like that, half wood, half plastic.
Yes.
Some people like this because of rain, you get coverage, right? You can here, but if you go with the planking, you can have rain coming through.
Yeah.
On top. But yeah, a lot of water damage, just deferred maintenance over the years. The one against the home seems solid. I don't see any wood rot or damage against the main support, the ledger. This is called your ledger strip. That looks pretty decent, and the wood coming out looks pretty decent. But the deck on top is shot, and then your two load-bearing beams look to be probably going to have to be replaced. And then all new plywood and all new decking has to be put on. Now it depends how far. Now this is the can we call it a repair? Well, it depends. Or do we have to get permits because we've got to rebuild the whole deck? A certain part, it's kind of like a home. If you repair more than 50%, then they're considered a new deck. Me, I just go ahead and build it and forget about it. You know,
Rebuild a new one.
Yeah. Well, I would just put. You know, you can repair what you have.
Uh-huh.
You know, but if it comes down to where this is kind of worst case scenario, let's say we go ahead and the city gets involved. Hey, says, hey, you're doing too much repair because it's over 50% of the repair. Well, these railings that you have here are only 36 inches high. Now, they're considered a new deck, they have to be 42 inches. So that might get involved where you have to maybe replace all the new railings all the way around to meet code. If it's a repair, we don't have to replace them. But if we're going to a new deck, then we're getting tied into new railings are getting involved. You're right at that 50%. You know, I mean, it's hard. Is it 51% repair? Or is it, 55%? I mean, you're on that proverbial. You're on that cutting edge. I mean, can we say it's 49% repair? Sure. Can we say 50? It depends who you talk to.
Yes.
Is it 55%? Or is it 60% replacement?
So let's say if it's a totally new rebuilt, how much roughly? Just estimate that. I won't hold you for that.
It would be because of the difference in lumbers have changed. A lot of times, like I've been bidding these here, where a few years ago these were $5,000.
Okay.
Right now they're probably a new deck and stuff like this. You're probably closer to 12 to 15,000.
Got it.
To take it all off and put new on.
That's a new one. So worst scenario is $12,000 to $15,000.
Yeah.
With a city permit.
Yeah. Well, the permit, that's just the building and material cost. The permit is probably, you can add another $500 to $800 for permits.
For city permit. Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
On top of that, because of the things have gone in the last few years, have gone very dramatic with the cities and materials. Like even building 4 years ago, I could buy just a cheap 2x4.
Yeah.
Cheapy, 75 cents. I go now to get a 2x4, it's $2.50.
Oh my.
Yeah. Now, if I'm doing work in someone's home, they have what's called kiln dried lumber. The same 2x4, except it's completely dried, nice and clean. Those are $5 a 2x4 a piece, $5.30. Where those used to be like $1.25, like 2 years ago. Now they've gone up that much. So here you can use regular lumber. It's nothing special, but the materials are just. As of last week, Home Depot, if I go to Home Depot and I price this lumber out and say, okay, how much is the lumber? They would give you this price is good for 30 days. I priced like the 2x4s and 2x6s and the 6x6 and and they give me a price on lumber. That price would be good for 30 days. As of last week, when they give you a price, because the prices are changing so much, 7 days. That's it. So
7 days for quotation.
Yeah.
Material
This
wise.
is what you can buy the lumber for today. It's good for 7 days. After 7 days, the bids are no good. And the same thing here. Like even with me, when I do repair costs and stuff like this here, my bids are only good for like 7 days, because next week, Monday, gone up. The price might have been $100 in difference in materials. It could be $50 less, $100 more. That's how it's going.
Got it.
I mean, it's just it's very difficult for guys like me right now to say, okay, fit 12 to 15,000. And I could be shooting myself in the foot too.
Yeah. So that's the worst scenario to rebuild. But if I try to save 50% of it,
yeah, we can repair it.
$6,000 or $7,000?
No, you're probably $7 to $8,000.
$8,000. Okay, so.
I mean,
So actually 50% of the cost, like either 15, 16 grand, right? Because plus the permit, or just save a 50% of if it's feasible, doable.
And now this thing, I gotta get the. I'm a general contractor, and I built homes like this. I've built decks like this, and so. And I rarely sub anything out. The only thing I would sub out would be the decking, the deck coating guy who lays the coating down. I haven't used one of those in probably 4 to 6 months.
Okay.
So I have to see what the prices are today versus, I mean, I can go off the prices what they did 6 months ago, but I guarantee you it's not going to be the same with today.
How do you call that kind of deck coating based on the one we saw?
Yeah, I would compare it to the same one. I'd go like for like.
Okay.
I mean, I like that coating that's up there.
But
How
do you call that coating? Any name for that?
It's like it's called a Dex or Trex coating that they have on here. It's actually like a concrete coating, like a stucco.
Okay.
It's pretty reliable, pretty waterproof. But because of the deferred maintenance, you got to upkeep them. They usually have a 5 to 10 year warranty with them. Anything over that, then they just start to crack. Once it cracks, it hits the water, gets underneath, and that just
that's what we see today.
To the wood, and then the wood swells, and that swells the floor, which causes more cracks and more water. So it just had deferred maintenance on it, and it's caused this problem. But like this beam has to be replaced, that one, and then the whole deck has to be torn off. And then I don't know how many of these maybe we can save. It looks like a lot of them are in good shape, but then it's more on that other end that you can see with the top of the truss or the ledgers you can see where it's been rotted, on those.
Okay. Thank you so much, Steve. Thank you, Hui. Okay, so stay tuned. I will keep you posted. Thank you. Bye-bye.